let's talk about an emergency on campus. It's probably the last thing any of us want to think about. But what if we flip the script? What if being prepared wasn't some chore, but a skill? A skill that actually empowers you and helps protect everyone around you. That's exactly what we're going to get into today.
So let's just get real for a second. Imagine an alarm starts blaring right now. Do you know, without a doubt, what your very first move would be? And your second? Because in those first few chaotic seconds, being clear on what to do is, well, it's everything. So let's get you that clarity.
And here's the thing. This isn't about needing to be some kind of action hero. Not at all. It's just about having the right knowledge. Because when you know the plan, you become this incredible, steady part of the solution for everybody. You're the foundation.
All right, so let's build that foundation. We're going to start with the most important piece, the proactive mindset. Think of this as the safety software you're installing in your brain long before you'd ever need to use it. There's this really smart idea behind all modern emergency planning. It's called the all hazards doctrine. And the concept is brilliant, really. Instead of trying to memorize a dozen totally different plans for a dozen different disasters, you just learn one flexible framework that can adapt to any crisis. It's about building a resilient system, not just a rigid checklist.
So, what does this actually look like for you day to day? Well, think of it as your personal safety toolkit. First, just being aware of your surroundings. Wherever you are, always know 2 ways out. Know where that fire extinguisher is. Second, you got to be an active part of the solution. If you see something that feels off, say something. Make sure you're signed up for campus alerts. And hey, when a drill happens, take it seriously. That basic awareness is your absolute best line of defense.
Okay, so you've done your prep, but now the alarm is real. The crisis is happening. Those first few seconds are just a blur of instinct and action. Let's break down exactly what to do when all that training has to kick in.
In the terrible event of an active shooter, the protocol is clear and direct. Run, hide, fight. Now, this isn't a checklist you have to complete. It's a sequence of your best options. Your number one priority is to run. Get away from the threat. If you can't, your next best move is to hide and barricade yourself as securely as possible. And only, I mean only, as an absolute last resort, if your life is in immediate danger, do you fight back with everything you've got. The big takeaway here is that it's a hierarchy of survival, and getting yourself out of harm's way is always goal number one. For a fire, there's a simple acronym to remember. RACE. First, rescue anyone in immediate danger. Then, pull the alarm and call for help. Next, confine the fire by closing doors behind you. And then you get to the final step, which is a really critical choice: extinguish or evacuate. And the rule of thumb is simple. If the fire is smaller than a wastebasket and you know how to use an extinguisher, you can think about fighting it. Otherwise, your only job is to get out. Your safety always comes first. And if you feel the ground start to shake, the response is immediate. Duck, cover, and hold on. This is the global standard for a reason. It protects you from the number one cause of injury during an earthquake, which is stuff falling on you. So don't even think about it. Just drop to the ground, get under something solid like a desk, and hold on tight until all the shaking stops.
Now, this slide is a perfect example of why situational awareness is so crucial. Our gut instinct for any emergency is to pull the fire alarm, right? But if you suspect a gas leak, that is the absolute worst thing you could do. A single electrical spark from that pull station could ignite the gas. So the rule is simple and it's non-negotiable. For a gas leak, you evacuate first, and then you call for help from a safe distance away.
Okay, you've done your part. You've taken the right steps. But while all that is happening, there's this massive system springing into action behind the scenes. So let's pull back the curtain and take a look at how the command center brings order to all that chaos. In any crisis, doesn't matter if it's a small fire or a huge disaster, you need a clear command structure. And the gold standard, used by first responders all over the world, is called the Incident Command System, or ICS. It's basically the playbook that makes a coordinated, effective response even possible. ICS is really built on 4 main pillars. You've got operations, those are the doers on the ground. You have planning, they're the thinkers figuring out the next move. Then there's logistics, they're the getters, making sure everyone has the resources they need. And finally, finance, the payers, keeping track of it all. Doers, thinkers, getters, and payers. It's a whole system designed to manage a crisis from every angle. But listen, a system is only as good as its ability to protect everyone. So now we have to ask a really important question. How do we make sure our safety plan actually works for every single person in our community?
This question right here, it's probably the most powerful and important tool you have. Instead of just jumping in and assuming you know what someone needs, asking how can I best assist you shows respect. It gives them control and makes sure the help you're offering is actually, well, helpful.
So here are a few simple best practices. For someone with a visual impairment, you can offer your arm and describe the path ahead. For a hearing impairment, gestures or a quick written note work great. And this last one is so important. For anyone with a mobility impairment, remember the elevators are a no-go. The safest spot is a designated area of refuge, which is usually a fire-rated stairwell. Your job is to help them get there, and then immediately tell first responders exactly which stairwell and what floor they're on.
So, we've got the individual actions down, we understand the system behind the scenes, and we've got that inclusive mindset. But how do we make it all feel like second nature? Well, the final step is moving beyond just having a plan on paper and building a real, genuine culture of resilience.
You don't get ready for this stuff overnight. It's like you have to level up. It all starts with seminars, just learning the basics. Then leaders run through scenarios and tabletop exercises. After that come drills, where you test one specific skill, like an evacuation. Then you have functional exercises to test communication. And finally, you've got the full-scale simulation, a real-world stress test for the entire system. Each step builds on the last, creating a plan that you know will work under pressure.
And all of that brings us to this one final, really important question. Is a safety plan just a binder sitting on a shelf so you can check a box, or is it a living, breathing part of your community that builds genuine resilience? Because at the end of the day, it's not about rules, it's about culture. So the real question is, how will you help build it?